So what if the path to real leadership didn't start with a fancy title, but with a year of genuine service? We're about to explore a pretty unique leadership pathway at Restoring Hope Ministries, one that kind of flips the traditional model right on its head. Let's dig into how they actually make this philosophy work.
And this right here, this is the bedrock. This single idea is what everything else is built on. I mean, it's a total 180 from a culture that's so often about chasing the next title. The idea here is that you prove you're fit to lead through your actions and your character long before a specific role is even on the table.
So, let's treat this as your personal guide. We're going to walk through this step by step to see what this journey could actually look like for you, from your very first day on the board all the way to that final decision point a full year later. Okay, let's jump in with the most critical phase, your first 90 days. And look, this isn't just some boring orientation where you get a handbook. This is about immediate immersion. You're jumping right into the real work, getting a feel for the culture, and starting to shape a vision for where you might fit in down the road. What's so cool about this timeline is how intentional it is. Right in month 1, you're not on the sidelines. You're immediately part of the governance through onboarding and getting placed on a committee. Month 2 is all about the non-negotiables, the ethical and legal guardrails. And then, bam, by month 3, you're already being asked to think strategically and put a project concept on paper.
Right. And the key thing to get here is that these aren't just boxes to check off a list. Joining a committee means you are learning the ropes from the inside out. You're in on real decisions. And the ethics and legal training, that's all about protecting the ministry and, more importantly, the people it serves. It's about building trust from day one.
Okay, so after you've gotten your feet wet in those first few months, the focus really starts to shift. It's not just about learning anymore. Now it's about creating. This whole next stage is about taking an idea, just a little spark, and building it into a real, tangible project that could actually happen. You can see how logical the progression is here. You start small, with a simple concept paper, just getting the idea down. Then, you flesh it out into a full-blown proposal, with a budget, a timeline, the works. Next up, you gotta figure out, okay, how are we gonna pay for this? And finally, you wrap it all up and present the whole package to the board.
And you're definitely not doing this alone, which is huge. This dual mentorship thing is so important. You have a board mentor who's guiding you on the governance side of things, accountability, project planning, but at the same time, the lead counseling pastor is there to focus on your spiritual growth and making sure you're aligned with the mission. It's about developing the whole leader, not just the strategist.
All right, now we get to what might be the most unique, most challenging part of this entire pathway. See, it's not enough to just have a brilliant idea. Here, you have to learn how to fund the very role you're hoping to one day fill.
And this chart just lays it all out, doesn't it? Look at how the focus completely shifts for the last half of the year. This isn't theory. This is hands-on, in-the-trenches training in what it really takes to run a nonprofit. Grant writing, building relationships with donors, and making sure every penny is handled with integrity. It's basically a masterclass in sustainability.
So here's the bottom line. The whole process is designed to answer one question. Can you credibly lead the funding for your own position? This ensures that any new role isn't just a drain on resources. It's sustainable from day one because it's built on a foundation of proven fundraising competence. Now, before we get to the finish line, we need to pump the brakes for a second and talk about the how. Because all of this, the projects, the funding, it's all built on a specific code of character that is just absolutely non-negotiable at RHM. I mean, just look at this comparison. It's so clear. On one side, you have the stuff they're looking for, a servant's heart, being teachable, taking ownership, humility. And on the other side, the red flags they're actively watching out for, shifting blame, getting defensive, pride. It's a pretty bold statement that character truly comes first.
And a huge piece of that character code is how you handle conflict. They even have a specific name for a behavior they work hard to prevent, triangulation. You know what this is? It's that instinct to talk about somebody instead of to them. It just destroys trust, and it's the total opposite of the unity they're trying to build.
So instead of that drama, there's a clear, structured path for working things out. It always starts with you, with checking your own heart. Then you go talk to the person one-on-one, and it only escalates from there if it absolutely has to. The goal is always about restoration, not about winning an argument.
Which brings us all the way to the end of this one-year journey. You've done the training, you've had the mentorship, you've built the project, and your character has been observed the whole time. So what happens next?
Let's just ask the big question that I'm sure is on every candidate's mind. After you go through this whole intensive year, is that director role a sure thing? Well, the answer is a very clear and very intentional no. This pathway is an assessment, not a promise.
In the end, it all comes down to these three things, and I want you to notice what's listed first. Number 1, character and culture fit. Then comes the evidence that you're competent, and finally, whether your funding plan is actually viable. Just completing the tasks isn't enough. You have to have proven you are the right person with the right heart for the mission. And that really leaves us with this final thought to chew on. This entire model is built on one powerful, pretty countercultural question. What if we all started to think about leadership this way? What if proving you could faithfully serve wasn't just some box to check, but the very first and most important step to earning the right to lead?